Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here for a video on Marvel Strike Force. I guess we have something special to talk about today, and I've really wanted to just kind of clear the air on a few things because I believe that I've not specifically addressed this. And there's been, I would say, not so much in the YouTube community, but more in the Discord and maybe beyond kind of community where I've not spoken publicly about me and the MSF Envoy program. Now, I may have said it kind of in other videos, but I want to do a specific video on this because there's a lot of misinformation going on out there as to the reasons why this occurred. And I'm going to be discussing that here in today's video. And we're actually going to be featuring Tauna a little bit here in the video as well, because as you might know, that he is not doing content for Marvel Strike Force anymore. He was previously an Envoy who was the primary source for data mines. I've basically taken over that role now, more or less, and I was the only other one after Tauna who did that within the Envoy program, and that is the reason why I was removed. That was the reason that I was given, and there were some particular things that they didn't like about me doing data mines, which, by the way, was all publicly available information. Anyone who stated otherwise, anyone who suggested that I data mine the test server was complete bullshit and they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. So in this video, we are going to be clearing this up and we are going to be hearing from Tauna a little bit as well. And he did write me quite a lengthy write-up, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys about what his experiences were in the Envoy program, and especially with relations to data mining and how that is for me, or how that was for me, and I'll comment on that as well. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. All right, everyone, and so this is Tauna, and for those of you who don't know Tauna, he was a very big member of the MSF community. He was very well known for data mines, for rumors, and other things like that. He is also a member of my Alt Alliance still. For how long, I'm not sure. He's expressed his kind of disappointment with the direction of the game, and I think a lot of us are, especially in the free-to-play community. But he has done this video to kind of start this whole thing off, and then we're going to go into the video, into the rest of the document that Tauna has provided for me. So I want you to take a look at this. Also, he has a really amazing Magic the Gathering channel too, so I'm going to leave a link in the description down below. You know, it's really great that he's actually finding another passion for him to do on YouTube. So if you want to follow him there, I will leave a link down below. So let's get started to it. Tauna!
Hey guys, this is Tauna. I just want to kind of put a little intro to this. This is a document that I sent through to Boilon about my experience with the data mining and the Envoy server and all that kind of stuff. It's mostly stuff that I've already shared on my Discord server in various different spots and stuff, but I kind of wanted to summarize it all together, make a big document to kind of talk about it all, especially because I don't like misconceptions around data mining. That's kind of like, you know, data mining is my big thing. So I wanted to kind of clear the air about all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys as what you guys think. And yeah, go ahead, Boilon.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you a little bit of detail of what we're going to be talking about here in the rest of the video. So let's get started. All right, and so the reason we started the video off the way we did was because I wanted to make sure that people were aware with no question that this was something that was provided by Tauna, so that people didn't make up things like, oh, Boilon just, I don't know, made this entire document up. This was sent to me. Tauna took the time out to write this and shared it with me so that I could share it with you all, and so we could talk about what's going on, for those of you who don't know. So I'm going to read this. I might comment on it as I go along, but here we go. So for an introduction, I'm talking as Tauna because Tauna wrote this, right? So for an introduction, I just wanted to explain quickly what data mines are in context of MSF. What we refer to as data mining in MSF is essentially two separate parts. Neither require hacking or backwards engineering MSF at all. Now, some people, there's a reason why that's in quotes, because there's certain creators out there that have been accusing me of backwards engineering. It's not true. They just don't know what the hell they're talking about. They are comparing files from the game installation for changes. This is a very simple thing to do. The file structures is very easy to learn. There's two types of files we typically compare. JSONs have all the combat style data, including PvE nodes, character kits, and then CSVs have the public facing info. These are inbox messages, kit details, things that you see in text boxes in game and such as well. So I know this, right? Like JSON files are typically where you're gonna get the more nuanced data, like the combat related stuff, the damage, the things like traits as well. So when there's traits for events, that shows up in JSONs too. So the easiest stuff is actually the CSVs. These are the text files. These are the easiest things to read. The JSON files, I would say, is a little bit of a step up because you have to understand the coding that Boundless uses for MSF, so you can kind of better understand that. When it comes to, for example, the Odin kit, that was actually in a JSON file a week. It was actually a week. It had been a week. So when I had put my initial video out on Odin, that was probably about 7 days, actually. Even I didn't even know that Odin was in the Datamine files until I was alerted to it about maybe 5 days after it actually been in there. So someone else could have seen it much earlier than this. And just as an example there, comparing asset files. This is a bit more complicated as it requires you to unbundle the assets and then compare. So this, I think what he's trying to say here is asset files would be, for example, when I shared the sprites, portraits, that kind of stuff. That's an asset files that I would unbundle using a different program to be able to get all of this stuff for you guys. So when you saw the null portrait, the vampire minions portrait, which by the way, I believe is one of the reasons why they kicked me out of the Envoy program, was some of the stuff that I shared with you guys regarding Orcus raids, regarding the character portraits, things like that other people didn't know, but was publicly available in the files. Data mining just looks at the files on your device, is what I'm getting at. That means everything in the data mines is either planned to happen, at some stage was planned to happen, then changed, things Boundless was testing, because the files are on your device. This is the publicly available client that you have. Typically, they aren't far into the future. If a team or portrait is accidentally added, it's usually the next patch or the patch after. If it's an inbox, it's usually a week or so away. This is accurate. Anyone who's been following my Datamines channel or who follows my videos would know the typical lag time that there is between when these appear in the files. Like most companies, Boundless never really liked Datamines, but kind of accepted that they stuff up all the time. They constantly push things into the live game data by accident, including portraits of characters and kits. Whether it was test branches or just the next patch's data early, we've seen it all. My Datamine knowledge came from a mixture of TyJ, Zexaf, and a bunch of my own learnings over the years. Ty works at Boundless now, and I believe in the web development area. Keep in mind, data mining can be done by anyone. Realistically, a PC makes it easier, but I've done it on my Android phone as before as well. Also, information under NDA can be data mined, but because it is public information, it's not subject to the NDA. Now, I'm not going to show you the contract that I signed for the Envoy program, but specifically in the contract states actually quite clearly that publicly available information is not contained within the non-disclosure agreement. Reading through this, I think you just said it here. Reading through the signed NDA information that can be acquired from outside the program trumps that NDA and is therefore able to be discussed. You can also technically data mine the test server. However, at most stages throughout the game's history, it wouldn't be worth it, as well as the fact that 99% of stuff-ups happen on the live game anyways. People really underestimate how much information is on the live server. This we were told explicitly that we weren't allowed to do. And I will say that not at any point in time was I ever data mining the test server. Some people made arguments that because I was an Envoy and because I knew certain things, I knew what I was looking for in the data mines. That's just a load of shit, honestly, because all you need to look for is the timestamps. That's it. There's timestamps of when files are updated in the data mine, so you know where to look. It's that simple. And then you compare that with a previous file that was older of the exact same file, and you can see the differences between the two files. It's not rocket science, right? It's just some people seem to think it is. When I rejoined the Envoys after I left, I was told a number of other Envoys were not happy as they perceived that I was getting exclusive information by data mining. This exclusive information was just in the data mines, mind you, and in the public files on my device. These envoys didn't want me in the program because of this data mining, and I 100% confirmed that it was because of data mines, not leaks. At the time, Cerebro and Lori tried to bargain with me in a number of ways. First, they wanted me to share all my data mines on the server, which I agreed to, with the ask that the other envoys credited my work. After that, After that was going for a while, these envoys were still annoyed. I was getting to publish the videos first. Lori then came to me saying that Cerebro would like if they could add an embargo on the information that I found, and I couldn't publish videos until that embargo was up. At this stage, I said no. I wouldn't do that. Data mines were the core of my channel, and it was my work to do them every day, and they were all public information. As you may, and this is separate, so you guys might know, I do all of this myself as well. So why should I share my information with the other envoys? And I take a very similar stance to Tauna. The difference was that, Tauna eventually left the program, and then I was left, and they did what they wanted. They didn't bring it up again after I pointed out again that any one of these envoys could do it. Yes, they could. Any of you could do data mining. It's that simple. I self-taught myself, actually, within a couple of hours. It's that simple. It does take some time to know which files that you should be looking for or looking at and how to read it. But other than that, it is anyone could do it. You could Google it or YouTube how to do it. They didn't bring it up again after I pointed out that anyone was able to do it and asked if we are going to put an embargo on other people's, for example, Crucible videos, and they shared them with the other envoys first so they could make videos. However, envoys would still be unhappy, either publicly or in the Envoy server, about it. Eventually, that led to Boundless telling me that I needed to give them a heads up if I data mine things so that they could make sure I didn't interpret things incorrectly or talk about things that were accidentally added, with the line essentially saying, quote, journalists would come to us for comment before publishing their findings. Again, I said no, because this is all public information that anyone could find. Though I'd happily put out a Boundless confirmed XYZ if they asked after data mines came out. Mind you, this was all in private chats. There was never a public statement around data mining in the Envoy chat, a rule against or for it, or a policy around it. Because you guys know, and this is not Tonda, this is me speaking, that they don't typically acknowledge data mines. Very rarely do they acknowledge data mines because it's not something that they want people to know, right? Even though it's there. So it's not until things actually happen in the game that things are addressed, right? And this can go for any of the things that are ongoing right now in the game. That they just don't get addressed publicly until it actually happens. I ended up slowing down and then stopping data mines due to the pressure from Boundless and other envoys. Data mining was fun for me, mind you, like a game of hide and seek, essentially. A puzzle to figure out and to find out where Boundless left something by accident, which happens a lot. It was pretty depressing when it became so drama-filled. In reference to my data mining, there is very little of any difference to what Boilon's doing. We both do basically the same thing, just using different tools. We'd find the exact same stuff, and he'd discuss it with me in DMs sometimes, which I do. I talk to Tauna still. There is also Jay, who does data. So Jay is Cursed Jay on Discord. Some of you may know him, and you may not. He does data mining, and he would have no access to the test server to find this information, and still did. Stuff like Odin's kit being in the files before announcement goes to show that Boundless really doesn't know what's going on. And it was, I think, it was in collaboration that, me and Jay discussed the Odin JSON file about the kit, and that's where I got it wrong. I got it a little bit wrong on the first go because I misread it, in terms of the numbers. And so that's why I actually posted an updated version a little bit later that evening or the day after, I forget, before the official kit came out on the on the website, right? In reference to the Envoy program, it is very much a clique. The main group will happily rage and yell at people in chat that stuff up, unless it's one of their friends. Then it's a whoops, we're trying to blame one of the other envoys despite it being their stuff up. Right? Like the CC envoy codes that happened on the last tournament, kind of like that. They blame me for something that wasn't my fault because it was theirs for fucking it up in the first place. There is so many envoys. There's a handful of envoys in particular who have leaked countless times, like a dozen times, honestly, like probably once a month, and nothing happens to them because, oops, it was an accident. For example, Heartgrave, here we go. For example, Heartgrave and Valley leaked the reworks for the Unlimited X-Men on their video. I said, hey, These guys said this in a video, and then I had multiple envoys ripping into me for leaking, despite it coming from other envoys. This clique is also the group who would talk over other people's opinions if they tried to give their perspective, and therefore just drown out the other player group's representation. There are, of course, chill and nice envoys, and don't get me wrong, but if you get on the wrong side of this clique, it's private, semi-public, and public attacks, or passive aggressiveness constantly. I've said it publicly in my chat, but I believe this clique was what got Boilon kicked out from the Envoy program, given how close his situation is to what I experienced upon rejoining the Envoy program to do with data mining. Other envoys are unhappy if you get exclusive information and want you out. This time, however, they actually managed to do it. I don't know if this is because of a change of who is running the Envoy program, Stark/Lori instead of Cerebro, because Cerebro's been out for a while now. The personal relationship that some of the envoys have with Stark, after all, it was player experience that Dorky was working closely with, that Stark leads, and he's the one most upset by the data mines. An actual change in policy that happened without an announcement or because of just being upset about early information that they made up accusations of breaking NDAs, because that's exactly what happened to me. There's accusations that I broke an NDA, that I data mined the test server, which is categorically untrue and false. And anyone who believes that is total bullshit, and you don't know what you're talking about. And you might want to do your own research before you think that way. Just saying. Uh, and so there was no policy that was created. There was no comment ever made regarding data mining. I actually tried to clear that up by asking them about it, and I got no response. All I got was a kick in the ass. Later, after I did my Orcus raid video, my original Orcus raid video, when I showed some of the sprites and images and shit from the raids that were in the data mine. Anyways, I hope this clears things up. This is all info I've talked about on my Discord in various stages. Anyways, just a more cohesive and clear here. As I said, I moved over to Magic. I'll leave the link to the Magic the Gathering channel in the description down below. But still play the game. I just don't like misconceptions around data mining. Love to the MSF community. Hey, Tauna Valeris. Feel free to reach out to me on Discord. So that's it. That's the story. Hopefully that clears things up. I hope that it does. I hope that if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Discord if you want to talk about it or whatever. If you have anything that I forgot to add or whatever, or you want to know more, feel free to reach out to me as well. Me or Tauna, if you want to talk about it, feel free. Or leave a comment down below about what your thoughts are about this. The main reason why I did this video is to clear up the misconceptions around me, around Tauna, around data mining, and around all things related to that and the drama surrounding it. Because at the end of the day, I'm providing a service to the community, and I got punished for it, for things that I didn't really break anything. I did not break any single goddamn rule in the Envoy program. So they burned their bridges with me. I'm not going to make a third chance on this, so my relationship with Scopely and Boundless are officially done. And I have there's going to be zero communication between me and them in the future. So that's it for me, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And of course, we'll be doing more content as always here on the Boilon channel. So until next time, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.